Just followed you back, bro.
All right.
Wait, my bad. Yo, what is going on, y'all? How are y'all doing? It is Big Clay Slay here with my co-host MG. This is Eagles Giants preview and predictions with my guy Mac. So, how are you doing, Mac? Introduce yourself to the people that don't know you. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
I'm Mac the Giants fan. Appreciate you having me on, Slay. Just here talking about everything New York Giants, man. That's what I do on my channel. I do a couple shows every week. I do a podcast every Wednesday. NFC East roundup. Talk about breaking down the Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, and the football team every Wednesday at 8:30 on my channel. Also, we drop a preview video, and I do a live aftermath stream after every Giants game. Before I do the preview video before every Giants game, which is a pre-recorded joint that I do, and then on after the game, I do a live aftermath reaction every game on every Giants game, and I always drop a occasional rant video here and there too when one's needed. So it's pretty much the gist of it for right now. I'm just getting started. I've been doing this for a little less than a year, so I'm just trying to continue to build this up.
Yeah. So if y'all have any questions in the chat before we jump in, y'all can give some questions to Mac. But how are you doing though, MD?
I'm doing great, man. I can't wait for this game, this matchup. This is one of the biggest rivalries in football, and I can't wait for it, man. I mean, all the smack talk that I've been going through with Giants fans all year, it's finally time to put up or shut up. So I'm ready.
Facts. Yeah,
I'm ready. This is Slay, I don't know. I might have mentioned this to you before. I live right outside of Philly, so I'm right in the heart of that rivalry, man. I have been my whole life being a Giants fan, so
yeah, you
this
in
is
enemy
definitely
territory.
a big one for me.
You over here,
definitely a big one.
and I'm also in enemy territory.
Yeah, he in New York. I'm the only one in here who lives in the same city as their team.
Yeah,
y'all both in enemy's territory, but hey, man, it's a few Giants fans over here, and look. Through all the rivalry, man, I have respect for everyone, man. But this week, any Giants fan I see, it's respect. But they know what time it is. It's time to play football, and I can't wait for it.
I mean, that's
what up,
that's the way I
AB?
feel with the Eagles, man. About the Eagle guys, man. Like, look, we can chop it up all year, man. But this week is game week, man. So I'll take the gloves off, take the kid gloves off, man. Let's go. I'm ready.
All right, so we can just jump into it right away. So, as this is Eagles Giants hate week, but how are you feeling about that loss that y'all had to the Buccaneers and everything that's going on right now with Jason Garrett and stuff? That whole firing, Mac.
Well, it was an embarrassing loss on Monday night, as far as I'm concerned. Not because it's not losing that's the embarrassing part, but when there's certain ways you lose games, sometimes it's like. We went out there coming off a bye week, and we were clearly unprepared, didn't act as if we didn't even have a football game. The game plan was terrible offensively. Defensively, we have deficiencies. I wasn't so mad with our defense. I mean, playing against a very high-powered offense, one of the greatest quarterback maybe to ever do it. You know what I mean? So at the same time, the defensive effort is still disappointing because we having the same issues continuously each and every game. I mean, we still have not generated a consistent pass rush all season, and that's starting to bother me because we're a team rich in history with those type of being good at those type of things, and we can't seem to figure it out, man. And then the lack of our run game, like how you guys, like I've been saying on my podcast, you guys have turned into maybe the best running football team in the NFL over the course of the last month of the season. We need to take a page out of that book because right now with our quarterback situation, we can't depend, I feel like, on Daniel Jones to just keep dropping back and trying to make plays. He's just proven not to be that guy that can put the team on his shoulders. I'm not saying he's a total bum. I'm not saying run him out of town. I'm just saying he's not proven to be that guy that can uplift the team at the quarterback position. He needs the help around him, and you need to, we have a running back named Saquon Barkley, you know what I mean, who, when healthy, is, whether anybody likes it or not, he's one of the best in the business. To turn around and only hand the ball off to him 6 times in that game, that bothered me, because for the most of that game, at least the first half anyway, we were still very much in that football game. So to just turn around and only hand the ball to him 6 times in that game, it's like he should have had more than 6 carries in the first half alone, let alone for the whole damn game.
Right.
It was like kind of like what you guys were doing with Miles Sanders before he was injured, before you guys realized we need to start running this football more with our backs, man. And we need to get that same light switch needs to click for us, man. I know our offensive line situation is a mess, and that may be the excuse or the reason behind it, but to me, that's not an excuse, because guys got to do their job at the end of the day, man. And we can't just have Daniel Jones dropping back being a sitting duck, because that's when he makes the mistakes that he was making Monday night. Those interceptions were horrible, man, and they look like the rookie season interceptions again, all over again. He just went all the way back to his rookie year with those kind of mistakes, man. We just can't have that. We need to protect our young quarterback, man, and how you protect a young quarterback is the way you got to protecting Jalen Hurts right now with a good, solid run game, man. I mean, he's also helping his own cause. Don't get it twisted. I'm not taking the credit away from him. I'm just saying I think you guys are doing a better job of masking his deficiencies than we are masking Daniel Jones' deficiencies.
Right. Yeah. So, like, I get sometimes you can, like, blame the offensive line because when you have a guy like Will Hernandez and he has like a 6 out of 100, like I saw PFF that he had 6 out of 100 something. Man, that's not good for an offensive lineman. His rating was terrible that game. They were getting beat left and right, and some of those plays where I saw on Pat's stream yesterday, they were watching the film. When Daniel Jones, sometimes he had like a couple, seconds in the pocket and the offensive line played a little well, he could have gone to so many other guys that were open. There was a touchdown where it was pinpoint accurate. He could have thrown there. He didn't. So there's times where he looks like a rookie and he makes rookie mistakes. But there's other times where the coaching staff doesn't help him and the offensive line doesn't help him. So it's like a balance of like both. You have a quarterback that can like do a couple good things, but if he doesn't do the certain right things, he might fold under pressure, and then the offensive line isn't helping him. That's not a good look for Joe Judge and what they got going over there. But yeah,
I feel like with Daniel Jones, he's the type of quarterback, man. When y'all drafted him, obviously y'all was looking for who is gonna replace Eli Manning. Because, I mean, as good or bad as you think of Eli, he was the Giants franchise quarterback for years. And when you look at how they handled, putting Daniel Jones in and just doing what they did, Daniel Jones is a quarterback with a lot of talent, but when the coaching staff, whatever coaching staff he's had around him, or when the weapons around him doesn't help him get better at things he's not good at, then that's the issue right there. I feel like with the Giants, if you knew Daniel Jones' weakness was fumbles coming out, you should have fixed that before he even took over for Eli Manning. If you felt like him not being an accurate passer was a weakness, you should have fixed that before he just took over for Eli. I feel like a lot of these things, and I don't want to make excuses for Daniel Jones because he's had a lot of mistakes that you just look at like, come on, bro. But when I look at him, it's like, how can I fully put the blame on Daniel Jones for the inconsistency at the quarterback position, where I don't see anyone in that Giants organization who is helpful to the quarterback? I know, unless someone can correct me, I don't see anyone in the Giants franchise who has helped Daniel Jones in a positive way to where he can take himself to the next level to be that guy for the Giants. I just haven't seen it ever since he's been drafted. I feel like they replaced Eli Manning, as you should, because Eli was on his way out, but you didn't develop the guy right. And I don't like Daniel Jones, but I can't just sit here and say that it's all on him when I haven't seen the Giants develop him right. I mean, Saquon's been great, but other than that, you haven't had a consistent weapon outside of Saquon Barkley, who week in and week out you can rely on to help out Daniel Jones. So that's just my take on it. That
I agree somewhat with that a little bit. Because some of it still has to wait on Daniel Jones as well. Because as bad as Jason Garrett has been as a play caller, I mean, I straight up his offenses. I call his offense prehistoric because that's what it seemed like. Just outdated offensive philosophy for the NFL in 2021. But it's still some of this stuff has to be on Daniel Jones, man. He has to take responsibility for his own issues too. Like Jason Garrett, to me, is not setting him up for success as far as calling the best offensive game plan. But it's not Jason Garrett's fault that Daniel Jones is throwing the ball across his body, across the field to a defensive lineman. That's not Jason. I can't put that on Jason Garrett. Mm-hmm. And I can't put it on Jason Garrett that Daniel Jones is just absolutely, completely missing wide open receivers across the middle of the field too as well. Like he locks in on one receiver and basically it's all or nothing with whoever, you know what I mean? And like on that one play we're down in the red zone, Kenny Goddard was running across the field wide open. Now we paying this man $72 million, whatever we're paying his ass, and we're missing him while he's running across the field wide open, and we wonder why he's frustrated. It's no excuse for his actions later in the game, where the period that he basically just quit and gave up on the team late in the game, Golladay. Right. That's no excuse for that. But at the same time, you can also see his frustration, man, because competitors want to win. They compete. They want to win. He wants to get in there. He wants to score. I mean, it's week. We're going into week 12 now, and Kenny Golladay still hasn't even scored a touchdown all season. That's not acceptable, man. Kadarius Toney hasn't scored a touchdown. Kadarius Toney has proven to be an electric weapon, man, and he's can't get this guy, found a way to get this guy into the end zone. Now that's a little mixture of both Daniel Jones and Jason Garrett. Now Jason Garrett's gone. So now the ball is back in Daniel Jones' court, man. What is he prepared to do? You don't have that scapegoat of Jason Garrett anymore. I mean, Freddie Kitchens, I'm not saying he's going to be able to come in and work a miracle, but at the same time, I think is going to be a little bit more of an assertive play caller. Offense is going to look a little more 21st century, at least, like at the very least. I don't know how much of that's going to take effect this week against you guys because it's only the first week. I would have rather this move happened during the bye week, and then he would have had a little extra time to get ready. But at the same time, Daniel Jones I've been one of his biggest defenders since we drafted him because I tell people straight up, as long as he's putting on that New York Giant uniform, I got his back. Regardless, you know what I mean? But I can't defend bad play. I can't defend just stupid stuff, man. I have to call that out too when I see it. And he's starting to revert back a lot more. He started off the season like he really had took another step in the beginning. It looked like this dude really seems to took a little step in the right direction. I mean, the touchdowns aren't coming like we would like, but at the same time, he looked pretty decent early in the season. That New Orleans game was lights out, obviously. And then now it's just like he's taking steps back. And it could be because he's not trusting his offensive line, which obviously he shouldn't. I mean, we have one decent O-lineman. I feel like we need to replace – we need 4 new starters on the O-line next year. The only one we can go forward with is Andrew Thomas. The rest of those guys are absolute trash. And for what it's worth, that was the one bright spot from Monday night was Andrew Thomas back in the lineup. Doing his job like he had been all season when he was playing when he wasn't hurt. So that was one bright spot where Daniel Jones didn't have to worry about it getting killed from the blind side. But he still has to figure out a way to play with more confidence, and he has to use his athletic ability. Like he may not. Some people search him not as a mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts per se, but he's athletic. He's an athletic guy that can make plays. He has terrible instincts, and his pocket presence is just. That's just too much to talk about right now. It's the fact that we're in here in year 3 and it's still just as bad almost as his rookie season, man. That's also more of a Daniel Jones thing. You got to want at some point. Coaches can only do so much for you. It takes the player and within the player inside to really take that step and make that change for himself, man.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I kind of see the Eagles a little bit last year, where when Wentz wasn't playing good, and the offensive line wasn't helping him, he kind of crumbled. And then you have Doug Peterson's like sloppy, I don't know what you want to call it. You want to call it like a vanilla offense, basically. His vanilla offense, it didn't help Carson Wentz. So I think it's more sort of like Daniel Jones making bad decisions here and there, but the offensive line, four of those guys just not helping him at all. And now that Garrett's gone, you don't have an scapegoat. He was the scapegoat, and he's not there anymore. So I think Daniel Jones is to step it up now. And Freddie Kitchens, he was with the Browns, I believe, the year Baker was in his rookie year, I think. He was there for his rookie year. And it was that second part of the season where he called the plays here and there. So I think he's an aggressive type of offensive coordinator. He can be aggressive, and you got a guy like Kenny Golladay who's a vertical threat here and there. You could just throw the ball up to him. He's a jump ball guy, and he kind of has a good speed where if you throw the ball up to him and he's down the field, he's catching it. So I feel like you got to start putting Daniel Jones and Kenny Golladay. Well, you have to put Kenny Golladay more into the offense. That's what I think about that the Giants offense. But Mac, what do you think of your receivers so far as we're talking about that the last game?
The receivers in the last, just specifically from the last game?
The receivers in the last game and how they've been this entire year.
Well, how they've been this entire year is hurt for the most part. I mean, looking like y'all going to dodge a bullet without Kadarius Toney this week either. Looks like he's going to be sitting out this game too as well. Still can't get Sterling Shepard back into the lineup. Kenny Galladay's missed, 3 or 4 games. Who else do we got? At this point, I'm forget Darius Slayton. He's missed a few games along the way this year. Our receiving core has been banged up all season long. We lost Dante Pettis. I mean, I know that's not a big name necessarily, but he was a depth piece for us, and he make a play here and there. And we're just not getting these guys going. Like, we got guys that our receivers have specific skill sets, and we're not using those skill sets. Like you just mentioned about Kenny Golladay. We haven't taken one deep shot to Kenny Golladay all season long, not one. And not for nothing, that's probably the strongest part of Daniel Jones' game is throwing the damn deep ball. So it's like we're not doing that enough. That's what I mean. Like, other offensive coordinators and coaches, they find ways to get their playmakers going, man. And we just seem to do the opposite of that. Like, we just want to fit square pegs in the round holes. It feel like we're trying to force people to just do what they don't do well. Like John Ross, we've taken like 1 or 2 big deep shots to him all season, and they paid off. I feel like the couple of times we've done it, but we're not doing it enough. It's like, where's the rest of that at? I mean, where's more of that at? And Darius Slayton the same way. He's more of a deep ball guy. I know his hands are a little suspect. He dropped the touchdown pass against Washington, but at the same time, I mean, that's what he brings to the table. And then Kadarius Toney's that just gadget guy that can do a little bit of everything. Obviously, when he gets the ball in his hands, he has the ability to make people miss. We just got to get him set up in position, like stop running them out on 3 and 4 yard out routes and give him an opportunity to actually make a damn play. Saquon Barkley, the same, like we're trying to make him some kind of bruising running back. That's not what he is, man. He's a home run hitter, man. Get him out in the space on some screen plays. Get him to the outside. Let him do what he does best, man. And hopefully he almost broke a couple on Monday night. Actually, went for a couple of good plays by Tampa Bay's defense, man. Saquon almost broke a couple big plays on Monday night. He was just this close, man. So it's like the guy, he's still got game, man. He still got game. A lot of people want to run him out of town, say he was a bust. We shouldn't have took him number 2 overall. Here's what I say about that to people, man. Nobody complained about it when he was rookie of the year and had almost 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards. Nobody complained about it then. You know what I mean? So let's not act like this man wasn't making huge plays as a rookie and can still do the same thing. I mean, and let's not forget the year when we drafted him, he was the best player in the draft. So you don't always have a lot of opportunities to draft the consensus number 1 best top player in a draft class, you know what I mean? So sometimes you take that swing, man, whether it's a running back or whatever position it is. I get it. We could have had Quentin Nelson, which would have been a much bigger need at the time. But let's face the facts. Even if we had Quentin Nelson right now, would this team still be good? No, this team would still be. Yeah, exactly. So that's my point. Everybody wants to shit on. I'm sorry. Wants to talk about Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? And say how it was a bad pick and horrible pick. Nobody said that was a horrible pick after his amazing rookie season. Nobody said that. So now hindsight's 2020. You can look back. Oh, he's been injured the last few years now, a lot banged up, and he has been. That's football. It's a tough game. You know what I mean? It happens. But I don't regret that pick one bit. I'm not going to be one of them fans to turn my back on this kid because I know he's a superstar. And I don't want him to go to some other team and we got to play against him, whether it's once every 4 years or even if he goes to a division team or something like that. We got to play against him twice a season. I don't want to deal with that.
Now, I got a question. Is Evan Ingram just that bad? Is he just that bad that he just doesn't matter anymore? Is he that bad?
He's been doing okay of a little bit. He's been showing up here and there. I've seen
when he's getting opportunities this season, he's been a little better. His hands have been a lot better this season but his opportunities have been a lot more limited. He's another one I feel like we don't use the correct way because he's one of those athletic hybrid type of tight ends, one that could split out wide, run like a receiver, like a wide receiver, you know what I mean? And we don't use him in those kind of ways. We're using him on quick little stick routes, and he's getting the ball and having to take big hits. And that's clearly not what Evan Ingram does best. You know what I mean? That's when he usually have his most problems when he's with ball security. So we just got to figure. Like I said, that's my biggest problem with this coaching staff. My biggest problem with Joe Judge is when he came in, this is what he sold us a bill of goods, man. He said how he was going to use players. He was going to use players to the best of their abilities and this, that, and the other. Gave us his whole thing. Had me ready to run through a wall for this guy that I didn't even know. I was mad when we first had signed Joe Judge because I had no idea who the hell he was. And then to find out he was some special teams coordinator, wide receivers coach, I was like, really? But then he gave that press conference, and I was like, okay, maybe he kind of convinced me. And now I'm feeling like I was lied to a little bit in a sense because I'm like, everything he was saying he was going to do is we're doing the opposite. I feel like we're just trying to force players to be something they're not. Evan Ingram, he's a great athlete that can make big plays for you. We just got to get him in position. Like I take it back for Evan Ingram. A big play for Evan Ingram is his second or third year, I believe it was. Daniel Jones' rookie season, his first game against Tampa Bay that he played, that big game he had against Tampa Bay. He threw that one pass to Evan Ingram up the sideline, man. Evan Ingram went 70 yards on that thing, man. You got to get people like him out into that kind of space and give him opportunities to make plays. You know what I mean? Evan Ingram was not going to be that guy that's going to get those tough yards. He's just not one. He's more of a finesse guy. That's just what it is. We drafted him. That's what we drafted him and pretty much knew he was. So we got to utilize that skill set. Kenny Goddard, man, he's one of the best 50-50 ball guys in the league, and we haven't thrown one 50-50 ball to him yet all season. It's week 12. What are we waiting for? I just don't understand. And our red zone play calling has got to be the worst in the NFL. It has to be. It's just a joke. We can move the ball between the 20s. We get to the red zone, and all of a sudden we don't know how to get another yard. I don't understand. I'm confused by that. Totally confused by that. So it's like I don't know what to think about this team anymore.
Now, I want to know what is the main problem with the defense? Is it not getting pressure to the quarterback? Is it the secondary letting up big plays? What is the main source of this defense not being as great as everyone thought?
You just already said it, man. You said it the first thing. You said the pass rush, man. I'm not putting it on the secondary. You can only cover for so long back there.
Yep.
You got to get to the quarterback, man. And we're not getting to the quarterback. Tom Brady was – the only time Tom Brady got dirty on Monday night was the play when he scrambled, which it was another ridiculous, insane play. You're making Tom Brady look like Jalen Hurts out there for a play. That was absolutely ridiculous. And that's the only time he got dirty because he had to slide on the play. You know what I mean? Other than that, we never even played a finger on Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a statue in the pocket, but we didn't even lay a finger on him.
Tom Brady could have used that jersey he used against the Giants. He could have used it this upcoming game they got, and people wouldn't have noticed that it was the same jersey.
Absolutely.
he was so clean. And once I seen Tom Brady run like that against the Giants, I just turned my head. I'm like, oh man, like Jalen Hurts is about to do something special against the Giants if Brady is doing that. Because it's just no way. It's no way. Not only do you not get pressure on Tom Brady at least once, but then not only do you not get pressure, but you let him run for a first down. Why? This man is 44 years old, bro.
What a
44 years old, bro.
Yeah, another Giant.
He probably has the worst 40-yard dash in NFL history, and the Giants just didn't take advantage of that. I'm disappointed, and I hate the Giants, but I'm disappointed just as looking at it from a football mindset that you don't get pressure to that type of quarterback.
Right, and I actually think the Giants are. If you look at the team overall on paper, I think they're one of the most talented teams on paper. If you just look at that team from offense to defense, it's just that some players don't get used correctly. Like when you have a guy like Evan Ingram, a hybrid tight end, you want to use him the way he's supposed to be used. Get him in that intermediate so he can make big plays happen. And a guy like Saquon Barkley, you said it best. He's a home run hitter. Don't be making him act like a sledgehammer type of running back like Jordan Howard, because he's not that type of running back. That's Jordan Howard's main trait. When you use Jordan Howard, he's a guy that can beat you down, and I feel like Saquon Barkley is not that type of running back. He's more like that home run hitter. He can beat you down here and there, but I feel like he's a little bit sort of like a Dalvin Cook in terms of like that home run hitter. Not comparing them, but just that home run, What's up, Claire? Yeah, but MG, do you have another question for my guy, Mac?
All right, look. We know about, the inconsistencies and the struggles of Daniel Jones. So is this the last season? Is this Daniel Jones, this last stretch of season, this is his last chance to prove that he is the Giants quarterback of the future?
These 7 games will be crucial for him. These 7 games will be clutch for him, man. Like, this is it. This is – because, like I said, no more Jason Garrett to blame. The offensive line is what it is at this point. So you got to figure out a way to work with that. I mean, nothing's going to really – there's going to be no real major changes on the offensive line the rest of the way here. So going to figure out a way, man. But he's got to – I don't think it's about the win-loss record at this point for these next 7 games for Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. It's just strictly about him, what he's doing, and his progression. Because if we go out there and he's playing good, smart, clean football, then we'll have to address the issues that need to be addressed. But he needs to make himself not one of those issues, and he needs to focus on that. Right now, these next 7 games, starting with you guys on Sunday, is where it all begins for Daniel Jones. For what it's worth, I'm not trying to throw a jab out there, but he's only played 3 games against the Eagles his career so far, and none of them have been bad ones. So he's got that going for him a little bit. He's got that going for him a little bit, maybe.
I will say, my man got tackled by the air last time. The spirit of Brian Dawkins talked him down.
But he still had a pretty good game that night.
Yeah, he did. Right. It's just, Boston Scott happened, which I know Giants.
He wasn't the reason we lost that game. Boston Scott was, and Evan Ingram.
Which he is available for this game. I'm just letting Giants fans know.
I know.
He's a New York Giant killer.
Think Jordan Howard.
Little guy gets on my nerves, man.
Jordan Howard ain't playing, so they're going to be like, of course, Jordan Howard's not playing. And then they
forget Miles Sanders, he can take another week off because, Boston Scott.
Yeah, just give the ball.
He's proven to be a New York Giant killer the last couple of years. He definitely has, man.
Yeah,
he had a touchdown last year against y'all. He had like a 63.
He's the reason you came back and won the game last year against the Monday night game
at New York.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about that at New York, MetLife.
Yeah, he had a touchdown against y'all that game too.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns against y'all last year. That was his only touchdowns, I think.
He's been piling up the numbers against the New York Giants, man. He likes playing us.
Yeah,
so it'll be a big part of your offense on Sunday.
Yeah, I think the Giants are still a different story because now that Garrett's gone, I don't know if it's going to be like a change in the like a full-on change in the offense. I could still see a little bit of the same things, but I still could see a little bit of a different change in terms of going deep downfield, taking shots here and there, going to John Ross. Y'all have that young dude in your offense. What's his name? Callaway. He went to LSU. He was the offensive coordinator of LSU with Joe Brady.
Some kind of offensive, like
him. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know, advisor or something.
Something like that. So they said it's going to be a collective effort with that. So I could see a little bit of new things with the Giants. But I still want to see them taking shots, even though we're like one of the best teams in the NFL in terms of like stopping those deep balls and stuff. Avonte Maddox, he only gave up a couple of catches, but he's been pretty good for the most part this year. But Mac, do you have a player that you think is going to break out on offense and defense? One guy that can break out this game on offense for y'all and one defense.
On offense, I feel like on offensively, we can I don't know, man, because I feel I don't know what offensively. I don't really see any. I don't see anything. I just want to see a good team effort, man. I don't. Excuse me for my nephew in the back, man.
You're good. You're good.
But give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
You're good. Hashtag extend Ben Simmons for the Sixers. No, I'm fine. Yeah.
I just think that the kid knows that the Giants suck. So he's like, listen, man, no more talking about a bad football team, man. We've talked enough about this horrible Giants team. That's just what I think, man.
This is, honestly, I think this is.
I'm sorry about that, Slay, man.
Nah, it's all good.
You good, man.
But defensively, I just want to see any pass rusher step up. Any pass rusher on our team. I don't give a damn what name is on the back of his jersey. As long as they're one of our outside linebackers, edge rushers that's responsible for getting to the football, to the quarterback. I want to see any of those guys, whether it's Quincy Roche, Aziz Ojari, Lorenzo Carter, I think is back this week. I don't even know if Zimenez is getting a uniform this week because I feel like he hasn't gotten one since that Kansas City debacle.
Zimenez is my favorite player on that team. I love Zimenez, man. He sucks. That's why I like him.
Anybody rushing the passer, I want to see step up this week, man. And we just need Tay Crowder too, man. He's been kind of, another guy, man, missing a lot of big tackles. He's one of the ones that Tom Brady put the move on Monday night. Tay Crowder, man, he's got to step up too, man. So we just need better. We need better play up front from our front seven in general, man. Because I feel like our back end is holds up pretty well for the most part. But they can, like I said, can only cover for so long, and then eventually some people are going to get open. Eventually, no matter what, man.
Right.
But offensively, as far as a breakout game, I wouldn't mind. Honestly, just what I just said earlier, Kenny Golladay. I know it sounds crazy. Week 12, we talking about Kenny Golladay being a breakout performer, but that's the way this season has gone so far, man. So we need that to happen. I need him to get in the end zone once or twice this week, man. Hopefully, because it's especially with Kadarius Toney being out and Shepard is Daniel Jones' favorite target, pretty much. Even he's been out for a few weeks, but those guys being out, Kenny Golladay has got to step up. And can I address this one comment? My man Vi put in the comments. I don't know what New York Giants fans he was talking to, but there is no way in the world anybody with the right mind should ever have been putting Darius Slayton in the same conversation with Terry McLaurin. I'm sorry.
That boy McLaurin.
Whoever Giant fans you're talking to crazy Giant fans, bro. Yeah. I'm not one of those guys, man. I'm Mac the Giants fan. I keep it all the way 100, all the way real. Terry McLaurin is my guy, even though he plays for Washington, bro. There's no way in the world any sensible Giants fan should have ever been saying that ever. At any point ever. I know Slayton had a pretty big rookie season with the 8 touchdown catches and everything, but even that didn't make him better than Terry McLaurin. I'm
Scary,
sorry.
Scary Terry's that guy. Scary Terry is that
Yo,
guy.
as soon as he played us that first game, I knew that dude was like when we played him in 2019.
It was
That
that
was
Deshaun Jackson game, right?
that
And
was
Terry
the Sean
McLaurin.
Jackson game where he had 2 touchdowns. I knew from that point on, Terry McLaurin was going to be the nightmare of the Eagles for
Yeah,
the
bro.
division.
He went. He's the reason why Deshaun Jackson had to do all that to get us back in
Right?
the game.
he had like 2 touchdowns in that game, but McLaurin kept beating us every play. It was bad, man. But yeah, we're gonna go to the part where the Eagles Giants win or lose. We're gonna go with our predictions. Now, MG, we're gonna start off with you. Who do you think is winning this game? Why, and what is your score prediction?
All right, so the Eagles are going to win this game because I feel like if they can't get pressure on Jalen Hurts is going to be sitting back in the pocket, running around just with a smile on his face because he knows the Giants pass rush can't even get Tom Brady to touch the turf. So Jalen Hurts going to be having a field day. And I think it was said earlier that if you can't get no pressure to the quarterback, you can't cover it back on the back end for so long. So Devontae Smith eventually in this game is going to get open. Dallas Goddard eventually in this game, if he does play, I believe he's going to get open. These guys, our weapons, Quez Watkins, he can be a sleeper. He's going to get open. And I think our offense is going to be successful. Boston Scott might have another couple of touchdowns against the Giants. And then I think defensively, Daniel Jones, just give us that one mistake. Give us that one turnover we need. And I feel like we got the game. Just give us that turnover, Daniel Jones. And then I think the score is going to be the Eagles 35, the Giants 24.
Okay, I can see that. Now, what do you think, Max? What you got one?
Well, I obviously think a little differently here, only because Eagles do have our number. I've been a fan for a long time, even in seasons when we're better than the Eagles. I'm not talking about this particular season, obviously, but other seasons in the past when we've been better than the Eagles still find ways to beat us for some reason. I don't understand that. I haven't been able to understand that. But this game means so much for the Giants right now because this is do or die for the Giants. This is it. This is our last saving grace to like preserve our season for any way. If we're going to save our season and have any semblance of an opportunity, it starts with this game, and we got to get this win. I think, like most other Eagle Giants games, classic Eagle Giants games, it's going to be close. It's going to be a tight one. But I do think we'll find a way to pull this one out at home in front of the home fans on Michael Strahan days, getting his number retired on Sunday. I feel like we're going to find a way to pull it out 27-23, man.
Okay.
You know what? Yeah. I honestly have to agree with Mike on this one. I'm going to go with the Giants, surprisingly. I'm going with the Giants. Okay. I know. Honestly, this was the game I said before the season where we could lose. I said we were going to split with the Giants, and this was the game I had marked on the calendar because this was the first game. It was at their house. I think this is the game they win because it could be a little bit of the change in the offense, and I feel like they could, be motivated, especially after what happened last year in that last game. They're going to still be motivated after that. They're going to think of that in their heads every single time they get out there. And you said that it's at your house. The home fans are going to be there for y'all. And Michael Strahan is getting his jersey retired, so that's going to make them want to win even more. So, yeah, man, I think this is a game the Giants win 27-26. I still think the Eagles play really well on offense. It's just that our defense makes a dumb mistake at the end, and then they kick a field goal to win the game. So I think it's just a 1-point win for y'all, 1-point victory. And
I'll say one thing.
Yeah,
if we let the defense is key in this game, because if we let Jalen Hurts run around like he normally does, man, it's gonna be a long day for us, man. Like we got to figure out a way to force him to beat us strictly from the pocket and see if he can do that. I mean, he does that, then he'll totally prove me all the way wrong. He already has proven me wrong. I've gone on the record and said it. All season, I was tough on Jalen in the off season a little bit, and he shut me up. Yeah, he has definitely shut me up this season. He's been a lot more impressive than I expected him to be. But at the same time, I feel like he still has to prove that he can beat a team from the pocket. You know what I mean? Just being a pure pocket passer. If you force that on him, I feel like that's where you have his number, man. That's where you'll get him, man, because he's not going to miss every throw, but he's also not going to make them either. You know what I mean? I think the times when he has to sit in that pocket is when he's usually his most uncomfortable. When he's running around doing this thing with his legs, that's when he's very dangerous, man. If we allow him to do that, it's going to be a long day for us, man.
Right, man. I agree with you 100%. He kind of reminds me of a young Russell Wilson. I know people like to compare him to more like Lamar Jackson and stuff, but I think he's more of Russell Wilson back in the days. I think Russell Wilson, he relied more on his defense, and we don't rely on our defense, but we rely on our running game, and that's what he had back in those days. And now he's evolved as a passer. He's more accurate. He's evolved his deep ball, and he's gotten better down the field throwing the ball accurately to his receivers. He has gotten better at almost everything a quarterback needs from when he got to the NFL to now. He's gotten more polished. So that's something Jalen Hurts needs to get better at, accuracy-wise. I've seen a couple times where he's shown me flashes of being a good quarterback in this league, but there is some mistakes here and there that he can fix on for the future. But I just want to say thank you for coming on, Mac. I know you got to get somewhere at 3 for Coach Dante's channel. But, thank you for coming on, my guy. Thank you for having me, well, MG.
Yes, sir. Yes,
y'all will subscribe to my guys.
Nice meeting you too, MG, man.
Yes, sir, bro. I subbed you up, bro. So,
yep.
Hey, bro, I'm going to be looking at your content, man. When the Giants lose, I'm going to be in your chat. I'm going to be like, what happened, man?
Hey, bro.
Right. I hope that happens. I want something very bad, man.
Yeah, we'll see, though, man.
Of course, Tommy comes here with his trolling, this San Francisco 49ers, and he plays around too much. He says, Giants gonna upset the Beagles. Oh my God! Of course he. I don't know why he's a Niners fan trolling us, but yeah. Thank you for coming on, Mac. Y'all go subscribe to Mac. Get him to 200. Get my guy MG to 800. We're both on the road to 1K. All three of us are on the road to 1K. So get us there. Huge game coming up tomorrow. This is NFC East Hate Week. And if we don't win that game tomorrow, we're going to be a little bit behind of that playoff sweepstakes. So we're going to need that win. So hopefully y'all don't spoil or anything our playoff hopes or whatever. But yeah, y'all have a good day, man. And go subscribe.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yep.
Appreciate it again, man.
Yep. Peace out, man.
We can do this again sometime.
Right. Yeah. Anything else you want to say, MG, before we get off?
Hey, look, bro. We still got 2 games left against the Giants this season. And, bro, we got to do this again. We got to do this again, bro. The second Giants game, bro. This was fun.
Playing, Tommy. Yeah, I'm playing around with you, Tommy, in the chat. Yeah, we got to do this again one more time. Every NFC East week is always fun, unless we're playing Washington or something. But no offense to Vibe in the chat, your Washington football team. Yeah, but it's always fun playing the Giants. But y'all have a good day in the chat. Go subscribe to my guys, and we're out. Peace, y'all.